This is a shorter mic, so I'll take that. This one doesn't work at all. It's Eddie Montana's mic. Okay, so here, I told you I'd be back, right? Thank you. So my name is Charles Tentindo. I am the curator and the founder of this space. It started off as an acting class a year and a half ago, and me and a couple of students that were much more handier than I am, built this stage and this whole space. It used to be the Horn Place right down the street, and it was a disaster. Rusty is his name. I'm sorry, Rusty. It was really bad. So we gutted the whole thing and we created this really intimate space. So acting classes here, improv, we teach stand-up comedy, we teach more serious acting, we teach kids of all ages. But lately, what's been happening is people have been renting this space and we're doing plays and music. And I just produced a 4-part, maybe some of you went to that, it was an opera. And it were arias, and it was amazing to experience opera up front, close. It's something that's very rare. So it went really well. We finally got a write-up, our first write-up in the Grundy Gazette. It went really well. Every show here has been a standing ovation. Okay, I'm just saying. All right? And if you don't, okay, we know who you are. So it's my acting studio, and then somebody had mentioned, well, if it's also a theater, then you need to call the theater and the stage something else. And he said, what is your mother's name? And I said, her name is Aurora. And so we named the theater after my mom. My mom is a very feisty Argentinian woman. And I told her the idea that I wanted to do is to name the theater after her. She goes, no, I don't like it. No, not my name there, no. And then she warmed up to it, and a couple weeks later, she goes, okay, but only if you put my name in lights above the stage. Eso sí me gusta mucho. And I'm like, no, Mom, we're not going to put your light. It's not about your name anymore. It's about the theater and the work we present. She goes, So I went back to her another week later, and she goes, okay, you can call it the Aurora Theater, but only if you have a perfect chandelier. It has to be perfect, not a cheap chandelier, but a nice chandelier. And so if you look back there, you'll see that's the Aurora chandelier. It only took 6 months for her approval. Thank you for coming tonight. It means a lot to me. This venue is for you, it's for the community, and it's for artists that want to share whatever they need to share. I want to tell you a quick story. I met Eddie Montana many years ago. I invented this instrument with Eddie's help called the Zen Riffer. You'll see it back there, the red one. And so several years ago, the first iteration, I said, Eddie, I have this idea of playing piano but standing up vertically, like a stand-up bass, like 6 feet tall. And he said, I think we can do that, Charlie. I think we can do that, brother. And so we started working, and sure enough, that was the first iteration, and it's gone through many. But I will tell you that it's being played around the world right now by a band called Dream Theater, and the first person to buy one was Jesse Carmichael from Maroon 5. So that's pretty cool. So it's there, and someday I'm going to be playing it again. But tonight, I'm just in the background playing a little piano tonight. I want to introduce my friend and fellow artist and luthier and teacher and musician and lover of life, Eddie Montana. Let me give him a hand.
Honey, I'm home. How exciting. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to start right there. And I see all my friends and family and new people that have never been here before. Thank you, and I'll talk to you later. I'm going to have to start at the beginning because this is sort of a confessions episode. As you might have seen in the beginning of the poster. But we reworded it to Songwriter Showcase because a lot of people thought it was a Catholic show. But in a sense that it is really telling you what it's like to be a musician, how to be an artist, how to get out there and make songs work. how to find the talent within your soul so you can be a musician, an artist. And a lot of you here have that beautiful light within your heart that makes you express yourself, makes the feelings of your inspirations come through in a musical instrument or in your voice or just being with someone. So I'm going to be talking about those sort of things. 1949 was the beginning of my life. And I shared that life as a baby with the man in the very back, Larry Sarver.
Hi, Eddie.
Hi, Larry. And we grew up as kids on the lawn next to each other, and we would play and have fun and go out and do our thing. We lived in Naples before it was an island, so we watched them dredge it out and bring the water in, and Lloyd Bridges was there to break down the berm, and the water flowed in all around. They built all of the docks, and we'd go swimming on the docks and have fun. And we were about 7, 8, 9 years old. But he had a brother that played guitar. And I said, boy, isn't that neat? You can play a guitar? And Larry said, yeah, let's get a guitar. So my mother bought me a Ventura guitar from Sears. It was about that big. It was all yellow. I thought, I don't know about the yellow part. So I stripped it, took all the paint off of it, and turned it into a brown guitar. Well, we went over and started working with his brother, and he taught us how to play a song. And there was a liquor store not too far away in Naples, and we would go over there and play the same song over and over again so people would throw us nickels so we could go buy candy bars, which were that big then. So we went into Rogers Junior High School, and that's when we first started experiencing bands and entertainment. We watched bands play, and there was a group of guys in Naples that were beginning to play together, and they formed a group called the Charvettes. It was a surf band. And Larry said, we're going to do a gig in Newport Beach. I'm 13, 14 years old. And he goes, we need a guitar player. And I said, I don't really know anything. He goes, it doesn't matter. We'll just turn your guitar off, we'll put you in a suit, and you play at the gig. That's my first gig. I got $3 and all the Coke I could drink. I loved it. I said, this is my life. I'm going to make it my life. Well, obviously there was some musical talent in my family. And my mother was a singer-songwriter. And her sisters were all singer-songwriters. There were 5 of them. And they were called the Sherlock Sisters. And they recorded, maybe 20 or 30 albums. And in those days, you could walk into a radio shop, put a vinyl on top of a do-it-yourself record player, and put down the needle and sing into it, and they would record their songs that way. And later, they did some better LPs where they had more songs on one LP. I have all those records still to this day, which is kind of neat to have. So, as I was growing up, my mother said to me, Eddie, you need to play the guitar with us. So I started singing with them. And she goes, now you need to sing. And I went, well, okay, what am I supposed to sound like? And I didn't know how to sing. And so I was just playing along, trying to sing, but I really didn't know what to do. So later on, before I became a singer, I had to go through the folk period. But for right now, I would like to show you something that happened to me because of Larry Sarver and because of surf music. And because there's 2 albums back there that are surf music that I recorded, all because of that day in 1963. And I'd like to invite up to the stage Richard Hastings. Let's give him a big hand. He's going to accompany me. He will accompany me on the first song that I learned on guitar.
What song are you going to do, Eddie? You probably play.
Okay.
Fight out. They fight out.
pipeline story?
No, you never did.
I swear to God, I have a pipeline story, because that's like one of the first songs we all learned as kids, right? Okay. And it brings back terror.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'll tell you why, because I was the guy that was assigned in the band to do this part. Right? That little tremolo thing. So we got a gig, just like my friend Eddie here, and we're at some little dance class, and we got to play with our band at dance class. And so instead of everybody dancing, they all just stood around and like looked at us, like stared. And I'm going, oh my God, everybody's looking at me. So we're playing the song, and then we come to the break, and then there's that place where you got to go. I forgot. That was the first dead silence of my life. And so I'm standing there, and there's this dead silence. I'm looking around, and oh! Anyway, that's my pipeline story. For what it's worth, Eddie, we've all been there, man. You know, that's our indoctrination. You know,
That's how life is as a musician.
more about that later. Yeah.
And we have a lot of fun things that are going to happen today, and you'll be surprised with what you see on stage. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the things that happens to you as a musician, and what kind of gets you to that point where you can be an artist, or a sculptor, or a book writer, or just bring that talent out. And so when my parents talked to me about singing, my mother was a critic, so I had to be very careful. So when I started singing, I sounded like Bob Dylan, because that was the period of time. And man, she said, Eddie, that's not you. You need to be yourself, not the copy of someone else. So I went back in, and I changed my voice, and I came out and sang with my natural voice. And she says, now you got it. Now you stay there. Don't be in the morning. You know. So I changed everything, and I'm so happy she taught me how to do that. My grandfather was a musician, and he made violins, and I have one of his violins here today. I'm going to play that for you too. And I wrote a song about him, and it involves my grandmother, who would monitor his drinking habits when they would play and have a good time. So she would take the whiskey and pour it down the sink and put water in it. So after the gig, they would go drink what was left of water and a little bit of whiskey. They'd still get drunk on it. So I wrote this song for him because he built a violin out of matchsticks. Now, did you know, in the Navy, there's no wood on ships, just matchsticks. So hundreds of musical instruments were made that way while being in the service and out on the ocean. And you can look that up on the internet sometime. You'll see these beautiful instruments. So he built one out of matchsticks, and I called this one Matchstick Fiddle Smoke.
Aww.
He was born into a hard-shell case in the back of a music store. Granddaddy fiddled a tune, taste make a living not such a chore. Mama hid the bottle so the boys wouldn't fight when the music stopped playing at the end of the night. Had you hear that matchstick fiddle smoking? Granddaddy fiddle for all the folks. Fiddle in the night, fiddle in the day, fiddle when we were away. He fiddled so much 'cause he loved the stuff when he played it his own way. He wrote that fiddle that he carved in it with out of crude matchstick handles. He tuned it right with his fingers in flight. He played it all night, that's right. Well, the years moved on, Granddaddy passed on to the big entertainer in the sky. He left behind one thing to keep in mind, how to have a whaley good time. Mama hid the bottle so the boys wouldn't fight when the music stopped playing at the end of the night. Had we hear that matchstick fiddle smoking? Granddaddy fiddle for all the folks. He fiddled in the night, he fiddled in the day, he fiddled when we were away. He fiddled so much 'cause he loved the stuff when he played it his own way. He wrote that fiddle that he carved in a whittle out of blue head and matchstick handles. He tuned it right with his fingers in flight. He played it all night, that's right.
Thank you.
Okay, now I'm going to get Granddaddy's fiddle out.
Right.
Right.
And here she blows. Here she is. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's a good instrument. Feel free to clap along. That was fun.
Can you do it one more time?
Would you like it one more time? Yes.
All right, Eddie.
All right, one more time.
How's that whiskey?
We got drinks later. Dean Martin taught me that one. Had enough, I can tell. All right. So, then it happens to you, you get to learn to play the violin. When I first learned to play the violin, it was my aunt that came to me, which was my grandfather's daughter, and I was playing the violin. She goes, "Is that a funeral march you're doing?" And I went, "I don't know." She grabbed the violin and she played the first part of that song for me. And it was called "Boil Them Cabbage Down." And I went, "How do you do that?" She goes, "Let me show you." And she was doing the fingering, and I went, "That is amazing." And I sat and practiced that thing for hours and hours and hours and hours. 14, 15 years old, just, that's what it takes. It takes years and years and years and years of practicing to get good at something, as you all know. Then you become the master of it. And then you become the teacher, which is what I am now. And I spent a long time in music stores. I had 4 music stores. My dear wife, Shirley, raise your hand.
Shirley!
She's now my ex-wife. And Sarah, my wife, is over here. Now raise your hand. And a few girlfriends around here, too. The life of a musician is to bring love to people. It's to encourage people to be more of themselves, and not to be afraid, and to go for it while you're here. You only have a short time to be here. So if you've got some talent, or you've got some inspirations, or you have a gift, or you have a dream, follow it and be your real self doing it. And it'll be the best thing you ever did in your life. And you usually make a lot of money doing it because you're happy doing it. You'll work all night and all day long. So being a musician is like that. And so some of the things I learned as a musician was to be a luthier. So I studied that for years and years and years. And the first guitar, actually the second guitar my mother bought me, was a classical guitar, and it wasn't worth anything, and it was falling apart. So I took it and put it in a big can of boiling water, boiled it, separated the woods, and built a mandolin case out of it. And to this day, I still have that mandolin case, which is over 50 years old, still as strong as ever. And I learned right then and there something about being a luthier. And I know it was a genetic implant from my grandfather. So there's energies and frequencies that we all deal with on this planet. We are receptors. We're receivers. You're receiving me now, and you're sending me back your energy, which is going in a flow right now. And another thing that I learned to do was sound therapy. I didn't realize how important music was until I studied more about frequencies and how certain kinds of music can change certain kinds of mood. And inside of our body, we have these spinning chakras. They're energy fields. And when you play good music, they open up and spin faster. And you raise your consciousness up, and you become sharper, smarter, and feel good. Basically, it's feel-good music, so that's the kind of stuff you want to listen to if you can. If it makes you feel sick in your lower chakras, then you might not want to play that song too much. Maybe once in a while, but maybe if you're dancing hard enough, it won't feel so bad. But so I practiced doing sound therapy for years and years for people, and then I ended up, here I am, almost 70 years old, and I go out and play in senior centers and uplift the senior energies and make them feel good. It's about giving it all back. Once you learn it all, you're supposed to give it back. And teach and give it back, and all the wonderful things you've learned, give it to somebody, because you're not going to be able to do much with it after you leave this planet, because there will be so much more to do on the other side anyway. So I'm going to do a little something fun with you, because I've carried you this far with the show. And this is called audience participation. Oh, you're wondering what that means. Well, you think you can clap your hands, but that's not what it is. A songwriter is a prolific person. He's somebody who finds within his mind and his spirit and the poet pool consciousness, poetry, melodies, and melodic structures that flow through his brain and into his mouth, out through his throat, and then all the air surrounding it brings it forward as a human vocal box. So what we're going to do is I'm going to write some songs based upon words you give me. I'm going to ask you for one word, and then I'm going to make a song out of it and play it for you, right on the spot. We'll do like 3 of them, okay? So Alex, give me one word.
Oh, man.
First thing that comes to your mind.
Lamb.
Clam?
Lamb.
Lamb.
Baby sheep lamb.
Like a lamb, sheep, lamb. Okay, Skip.
Love.
Love. We got lamb, love. Jim?
Leg.
Lead?
Leg.
Leg. Okay. I love my leg of lamb. Makes me feel like a ham when I come over to your house today. I'd rather have gravy on my lamb and the leg too, as long as you're waiting for me to see you. Don't worry about dessert, it doesn't matter. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. Don't worry about the guitar playing. It's the spirits from the unknown. I've got my leg of lamb, gravy and spam. Thank you for the words, I love it so. Dan, give me a word.
Grass.
Grass. Diane?
Bed. Bed.
Bed. Grass in bed. Larry?
Bed.
Jethro.
Bed.
Jethro.
Yeah, I'll throw you.
Jethro loves smoking grass, especially when he's in his bed. He'll turn around and smile at everyone because he's got a big head. Okay, Marcy, give me a word.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go.
Person comes to your mind.
Person?
Purses?
Purple.
Purple.
course.
Oh, Carol?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're, oh, that's right, you met me earlier.
Telekinesis? Or
Fun.
Fun. Purple fun. Lori?
Peace.
Peace? Okay. Love them purple beads round your neck. Makes me feel like a hippie. Come on, baby, won't you love me tonight? Love them purple beads round your neck. I ain't gonna be no hippie, 'cause I'm a rock and roll star trying to make it on stage tonight. Okay. How about one more? Okay, let's see what we got. Sarah, give me one word.
Angel.
Angel. Richard?
Happy.
Happy angel. Rob Roy?
Heaven.
Heaven. Oh my God, really? I'm a happy angel going to heaven. I look down upon you all. I see number 11. It doesn't matter now. The divine light shines within. I'm a happy angel singing for you again. So won't you stand by me one more time and love what I can do for you. That's the end of this song. God bless you. So that's what it's like to be a songwriter. That they go through your head, the lyrics come through your head, and rhymes come to your head. And how does it take to get all that? Study, reading, experiencing, doing the journey. And don't forget things. Don't let things get by you. See every sign. There's a sign everywhere in life for you to make a direction on. Whether it's left, right, forward or backward, up or down, you're going to see a sign. Something happens in your life. This whole thing happened because of just meeting Charles and building the Zen River. So many things happen to everyone in this. You can all talk about these beautiful things where connections happen to you. And so we, as songwriters, try to present that in music. So you have that experience and live through the artist. And when I was in Seal Beach, when I was doing most of my work there, is where I met Charles. 9/11 happened. A serious moment in all of our lives, looking at America being terrorized. And we were just devastated by that. But there's good things that come out of it. A month later, there was a sidewalk sale. And I'm thinking, well, this is okay. I can do that. Everybody's starting to uplift a little bit. And a lady came in on the sidewalk sale to me and she said, would you go out and play music in the park, and we're going to have a circle of hearts, and we're going to uplift people, and we're going to bring in Native American Indians. And I went, okay, sure, that sounds wonderful. We're going to burn sage and do the whole thing. She goes, yeah. I go, okay, I'm in. So went out. Before I went, that same day, a lady came in the store with a mandolin I was selling on the table that was unplayable, and she had it around her arms, and she was wearing a long white dress. And I looked at her and went, you really love that mandolin, don't you? And she goes, I just love this mandolin. And I'm going, who are you? And she goes, my name is Christina Lynn. I went, oh, okay, you're a musician? She goes, I'm a singer. I said, you want to sing with me? And she goes, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Christina Lynn.
Makes me sound like I'm about 12. I was actually an adult when that happened, so I was a full-grown adult.
Well, it's hard to do a female voice.
I know, and then I said.
Unless I'm Neil Young or something. But, so to experience the flavor of Seal Beach between the two of us, we wrote this song.
Actually, I didn't know this.
There's something in Seal Beach's winds that brings me back again. There's something in the fragrance of the sea. I long to see those swaying palms and the sandy shore. There's something at Seal Beach for you and me. I like to stroll along the boardwalk and visit the shops along Main Street. There's something in Seal Beach's winds that brings me back again. There's something at Seal Beach for you and me. There's something at Seal Beach for you and me. So, 18 years later,
Yeah.
I'd like to introduce this beautiful, fantastic lady to you, Christina Lynn.
Thank you. All right, good evening, everybody. So, of course, songwriters need singers to sing them, and that's sort of where I come in. So, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my entry into the musical world, and it starts way back in the 70s. Does anyone remember the 70s at all? Vaguely,
Yeah.
sort of ish. Okay, so I'm 11 years old. And that's back when you had those really huge speakers. Remember the really big speakers with the cloth coverings and the shag carpet? And I'm 11 years old and I hear this beautiful song called Annie's Song by John Denver. And I rush over the speaker and I lie down on the floor and I press my head against the speaker. And I start singing along, and then as I'm singing, I notice that I'm singing part of the song that isn't actually the melody. I don't know it's not the melody, I just know that I'm singing above it. And then I'm singing below, and I'm like, oh, I find out later that's called harmony. And so my strength is as a harmony singer. I don't have a big Broadway voice. I'm not a belter, but I love to harmonize because harmonizing is about weaving the sound and the energy around the lead. And I'm an alto, if you can't tell. Do you know the difference, alto, sopranos? The altos never get the lead, right? We always get the harmony. So then I went on and I sang in choirs, and I was a proud choir geek. Any choir geeks? No? A couple? Okay. And I recommend choir because it's a great place to learn how to sing. And then when I was 14 years old, I got my first guitar. And I learned how to play a song called Dust in the Wind, yes, by Kansas. And I really played it well. I was really good. And then life happened, and I stopped playing, and I stopped singing. And there was this long dry spell. And then I got into high school and I got back into music, and I had people saying to me, you know, you actually have a pretty good voice. And I'm like, I do? They're like, yeah, gosh, you can harmonize like nobody's business. I'm like, cool. And I started to sing in chamber choirs and a cappella choirs, and then I went to this music camp, and it just opened up this whole amazing world of music. And then I went on to college and I stopped singing. And then I graduated and I came out to California. And I won't say when, it was a long time ago. And I came out here and I went to graduate school and stopped singing. And then I sang a little bit with a gentleman who played the piano, and then he moved away and I stopped singing. And then that fateful day came when I was walking down Main Street in Seal Beach 18 years ago. And I walked in front of Eddie's shop, and I did indeed see this beautiful Appalachian mandolin with beautiful mother of pearl inlay. And I didn't know how to play the mandolin, it didn't matter, I just thought it was a gorgeous instrument. And that's how it all started. And so we've been singing together for 18 years, as Eddie said, and I have the honor and privilege of singing in senior centers with him, which is an incredible joy. And I'm also a full-time professor in my other life, but this is my other passion. And I've done a little bit of songwriting, and Eddie and I have collaborated on a song. And the inspiration of that song came from an amazing moment that Eddie had walking along the road when he came across a hat. And as he mentioned, the sort of divine magical moments that we are at a loss to explain how or why sort of find their way to us. And he picked that cap up and he looked at it and realized it was a cap for a veteran. And that was the inspiration for the song that we're about to sing, called Soldier on the Highway.
I still have that hat. There's a soldier on the highway trying to find his way home. On his backpack there's an emblem of the places he has roamed. And everywhere he goes now he tries to find out just what it is that tortures him inside and out. With every single step he takes, the memories just won't leave. They haunt him as he tries to find something to believe. 'Cause everything he thought was real has slowly slipped away. As he travels down the highway, he lifts his head to pray. Help me to find my freedom zone and leave this highway behind. Set me free of this war inside. I'm tired of carrying the secrets that I hide. I'm tired of carrying the secrets that I hide. Tell me why you can't see this lonely highway in front of me. Help me to find my freedom zone and leave this highway behind. Set me free of this worn side. I'm tired of carrying the secrets that I hide. I'm tired of carrying the secrets that I hide.
and we hope to write more songs going forward. So I'd like to invite Richard Hastings back up. The infinitely talented Richard Hastings that you'll see more of in our second half. But for now, we're going to sing, we're going to do a couple of tunes here, some feel-good songs. So hum along, tap your fingers, no, snap your fingers, tap your feet. Or if you can tap your fingers, that would be great. Snap your fingers would be great. Come a little bit closer, hear what I have to say. Just like children sleeping, we could dream this night away. There's a full moon rising, let's go out and chase the light. We know where music's playing, let's go out and feel the night. Cause I'm still in love with you. I wanna see you dance again now. Cause I'm still in love with you. On this harvest moon, when we were strangers, I watched you from afar. When we were lovers, I loved you with all my heart. Now it's getting late, and the moon is climbing high. I wanna celebrate, see it shining in your eyes. Cause I'm still in love with you. I wanna see you dance again now. Cause I'm still in love with you. On this harvest moon, on this harvest moon, harvest moon. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna do one more, and then we're going to do a flute song, but one more. So. Come away with me in the night. Come away with me and I will write you a song. Come away with me on a bus. Come away where they can tell us with their lies. I want to walk with you on a cloudy day in fields where the yellow grass grows knee high. So won't you try to come away with me and we'll kiss on a mountain top. Come away with me and I'll never stop loving you. I wanna wake up with the rain falling on a tune while I'm safe here in your arms. Oh, I ask cares for you. Come away with me in the night. Come away with me. Come away. Come away with me. Thank you. Okay, so now we are going to take you on an amazing oral journey of sound and spirit. And we will have all of these wonderful musicians with us, and I'm going to take a seat.
The Native American flute.
Yes.
Two of them in one. It only takes one mouth to do it.
But two Indians.
You could share this in a duet if you had somebody very close to you. Sometimes you have to check them because the birds tend to walk around. So grateful. I'm grateful for the air within my lungs, and we're grateful for the vision we have. We're grateful for our voice, and we're grateful for the blood that runs through our veins. We're grateful for the sky, and the clouds, and the sun that shines upon us. We're grateful for the water and the animals and the insects. We're grateful for sound. We're grateful for our feelings. We're grateful for the mountains. We're grateful for the stars and all the planets and all the universe, because we are stardust. privilege to share tonight this special moment with all of us. Thank you. Give yourselves a big hand for being in the light. Richard Hastings, Christina Lynn, Charles Tentindo, he is an amazing pianist. He's going to do some original material for you. We'll take a little moment and enjoy Charles. Give him a big hand. The creator of the Aurora Theater.
Thank you so much. So, this idea of like music and finding your instrument and having a connection with that instrument. My beautiful parents enrolled me in violin. You guys may know violin, and accordion, and organ, and piano, and everything. Nothing really stuck until piano. So, I would just kind of air violin, and then be training to play organ. But somehow, I want to tell this just quickly. My mom never gave up because I think it's a great thing. There's a certain instrument that would match, I think, a certain human being. And sometimes, drums wasn't it for me. Guitar wasn't it for me. So my mom never gave up, and she saw me go up to the piano once and watched, amazed, watching this guy play boogie woogie. So I was like, she saw me that I was transfixed by that, and I right away started to try to play that. After several thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars of lessons for other instruments, but she didn't give up, and they found this old beat up piano in a garage, and it was $125. It was here in Bixby Knolls, and my dad said, "Over my dead body." Because he spent so much money. My mom says, "Okay, well, if it's going to come to that, it's going to be the piano, and you'll be dead." So the piano stuck. It stays. It's still in my home, and I'll play a couple songs for you. They could never get me to read. I took lessons for about a year when I was in 6th grade. I could never read, but I had a pretty good ear. So you're going to hear a couple of songs, okay? I'm back. I don't know why I should even explain this to you, but you're going to recognize the first part of the song. But then you'll kind of find out this is the first song that everybody learns on a piano. And then you'll find out what happened several years later. Okay? Round of applause about right here. There, that's it. I'm back, Hannah. It's too much. I'm an actor. I'm an acting teacher. I'm amazed. I'm looking outside at myself looking in. It's crazy. There's this little place in Bixby Knolls called Mr. Roberts. Do you guys remember this? Raise your hands if you remember Mr. Roberts on Long Beach Boulevard. One person.
Okay.
Let me explain. These three old black musicians from New Orleans was a block away from my mom's house. I walked in there by accident one day at 17 years of age. I shouldn't have been there. And I heard jazz, and I continued to go back there for probably 3 years or 4 years and listen to these wonderful men play jazz. And so what you're going to hear is a couple of songs that I remember them playing. I would run back home and I would play the lick that I heard, and I would hear, "Shut up! Stop playing! It's 3 in the morning!" And I would do it anyway. So here's a couple songs. It's a tribute to a guy named Duke Burrell. Ago, I was with I'll call them the kids in the show, our people tonight, and I think Christina called it the traveling song, so you tell me what you think it should be called. So here it goes. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And now, I forgot what I was supposed to do.
Intermission.
Oh, yes. And the voice from the back. Yes, we'll take like a 10, 11-minute intermission. Restrooms are back. You want to cool off, you go to the back there. And thanks for all coming here tonight. Appreciate it.